Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode. It's 24th of July 2022 when I'm recording this. So today we'll be covering specific event that happened in cyber warfare category, things like a radio station getting hacked in Ukraine, a specific technique that APT29 is using. There are few breaches that happened last week, new fraud campaigns I found, some cryptocurrency specific issues as well as other relevant news in the cybersecurity. Okay. Starting with cybersecurity warfare. So, some of the radio stations in Ukraine were hacked and they broadcasted a new fake news about Zelensky's health. They claimed that he's under intensive care and his duties are performed by the chairman of their central parliament, Mr. Ruslan Stefanchuk. And eventually, Mr. Zelensky came out with a tweet that I have never felt as healthy as now. And this broadcast was done between 12 to 2 p.m., typically the time when most people are active, and there are 9 major radio stations that were impacted. Okay. Now, this is all about misinformation campaigns that we have seen in the past also. They are done on social media, they were done on television stations, and now radio stations also. So remember, it's all about how information or fake news can be spread in today's world where IT is being used. So don't trust everything you see or hear, honestly. Okay? Also, Russian hackers have tricked Ukrainians with a fake app on Android. Now, to give you some background, when the cyber war started, or the war started between Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine started a campaign called with a motive to recruit Ukrainians to support the IT army of Ukraine in doing a DDoS attack on multiple Russian government websites. Now, a lot of Ukrainians supported, other people who supported Ukraine also became part of it. Now, what this specific group called Turtla, also known as Krypton, Venomous Bear, Waterbug, and Eurobros, they have or they created an app. This app claimed, or the website that was promoting this app claimed that it is belonging to Azov Regiment of the Ukrainian National Guard, and they had ads requesting Ukrainians to join this campaign against Russia and by downloading this app and doing DDoS using this app. Luckily, not many people downloaded it, and the impact hence was minuscule. But look at how world is moving, where people claim to do certain things, but they don't. I'm sure some of you are surprised, some of you are not. So Russians can claim as Ukrainians, Ukrainians can claim as Russians, and any country or any person can claim to be anyone on the IT side. Okay? So beware of what you download, what you see, what you become part of. Be very careful of that. Then a group called APT29, also known as Nobelinium or Crazy Bear, also called as Cloak Dorsa, has been found to use the popular online collaboration or storage services of Dropbox and Google Drive. Now, going to the threat actor, APT29 is affiliated with the Russian government. They have campaigns going back from 2008 where they were targeting Chechnya and other countries in the former Soviet bloc. They were also associated with the attack on the United States Democratic National Committee, also were behind the SolarWinds supply chain compromise in 2020. And in the last 6 months, they are known to do several phishing campaigns targeting foreign diplomatic missions. But in their recent campaigns that this research report has analyzed, is that they are targeting a particular NATO country, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they sent this PDF, which is the name of agenda.pdf, and it contained a link for an upcoming meeting with an ambassador in Portugal. So a typical lure, okay, and then also the report claims that, or report states that the file was created or modified 2 hours before the actual delivery of the email. It contained a link to Dropbox to retrieve a malware payload, and this malware is called NV Scout. And there was another link in a different sample which belonged to a genuine company based out of Canada, and this company does digital marketing. Now, fortunately, in the first attempt, the Dropbox of that user was blocked, which often happens in a lot of companies, a lot of places. So the attackers modified the samples, and there were news links given. Now, the entire process involved sending a spear phishing email with the name agenda.pdf, which impacted the user. Once the connection is made, it downloaded the first payload, and after that, the second level of payload was downloaded. Some content was pushed on Google Drive, and then this payload of Cobalt Strike, which is a known red teaming tool for creating attacks. So some payload based on Cobalt Strike was downloaded. Now, this is interesting because Google Drive and Dropbox or any other storage sites are used popularly by a lot of enterprises. Okay. Now, to solve this problem, we have to inspect the services. Now, the question is, do these collaboration platforms or storage platforms allow us APIs to download this file, inspect these files, and a lot of these files are personal files. They are confidential files. So if we have to analyze this, we have to send this data back to a software security platform, get it analyzed there. An example could be a sandbox, and if this is malicious, then flag it out or block it. Now, is this happening today? Yes, and some products do that. Is it happening specifically with Google Drive? I have to find out. I personally don't know about this, but definitely a problem worth checking. Also, some rumors around Contai. So for people who don't know about Contai was a very popular ransomware gang. I think most notorious in 2021. They were shut down after their famous hack of the Costa Rica government. Government declared a emergency because a lot of their systems were attacked. There was a major ransomware demand, and then eventually there was a news of Contai going underground. Now, there are three groups that are tracked by cybersecurity researchers, and researchers are believing that all of them belong to people, or some people who are part of the Contai ransomware gang are affiliated with these groups. First group is a group called Black Basta ransomware gang. It started its operation a month before Contai is shut down. Now, some of the TTPs, tool tactics and procedures that are seen in Black Basta's campaigns, including payment sites, recovery portal, victim communications, and negotiation methods, all are similar to Contai. The second group, Black Byte ransomware, which has been active since August 2021, is also showing similar technical capabilities, things like having a worm capability, also using deleting the delete function of volume shadow storage by resizing it, and it was also seen with Contai. And then the third group called Karakurt, which is also RAS. They typically extort victims by stealing their data and telling them that this data will be published online or on underground forums if the ransom is not paid. They've demanded ransoms from the range of $25,000 to $13 million in cryptocurrency. Now, it is quite possible that the members of Contai are still doing something. Maybe some of them have left and joined these separate gangs, or maybe they have started new gangs. As things move further during the year, we'll come to know more about this. Okay. Breaches. Digital security company called Entrust is breached by a ransomware gang. So this report came from Entrust, and their CEO gave this public statement. They confirmed this attack, but the technical details of the attacks were not divulged. However, there were another reports on internet where details of these operations were leaked, included things like the ransomware gang purchased compromised credentials of Entrust employees and used them to breach the network. Okay, now Entrust is a very popular software. I have worked on it almost 15-18 years back. It's very popular in both public sector and private sector, and they make softwares for encrypted communications, securing digital payments, as well as identity issues. Right. So don't be surprised if a security company gets breached. People make mistakes. It can happen to anyone, and it's all because of, most of the times, as you know, it's because of social engineering issues that employees leave their credentials exposing the entire company. So be very careful of what you are doing. You can expose your entire company's information if you lose your corporate credential anywhere. Okay. Also in India, ClearTrip has announced a data breach, and there were screenshots that were posted on internet by a threat actor, which showed data of their passenger or customers, as well as their internal audit reports on the GST. Okay, and ClearTrip has confirmed it, and they are involved. They have involved some of the local agencies there, and this data is supposedly available on internet for selling. Okay. Also, a company focused on mental health called Filio, their customer data of 78,000 users is available or was exposed because of a configuration issue in their platform, and everybody who was part of their platform was able to see those email addresses and some other data, right? So this issue has been fixed, but this was because of a vulnerability in the platform itself. Okay, so I think it's a best practice. We should all apply basic cybersecurity hygiene, continuously check or do audits of issues on the platform. Okay. On the fraud side, there's a new fraud. It's called pig butchering. Comes from the term or the concept of feeding a pig before you kill it for eating. Right. So in this, in a similar scenario, what has happened is strangers are luring people, acting as companions by doing flirt or romantic communications, and they promise romance and riches before they cut them off and take their money. So essentially what these scammers are doing is they're luring people who are vulnerable. They start by sending a message that somebody clicks, then it takes them to a site where there is some messaging happened, and then the people move to WhatsApp groups and or WhatsApp chats, and eventually the victims are made to invest in these cryptocurrency platforms that guarantee committed returns. And if you're on my YouTube channel, I'm putting screenshots of what kind of returns they're promising. So 39% returns, 40% returns, all that is promised. And once the person invests, nobody replies back. You can't take your money out, right? So be very careful of these schemes. Okay. Also in India, the Punjab State Power Corporation Limited has notified that some people are using their names to extort money. So these scammers are calling people of the state, posing as the employees of the corporation and threatening them for cutting their electricity connections if the payments are not made. Okay, so this was announced by the corporation earlier. On the crypto side, a group called 8220 Crypto Mining has hijacked 30,000 systems, and these systems were hacked either because of some vulnerability in the configuration or service. And then this group is particularly known for their scripting capabilities around cloud and Linux. And this group has installed a cryptocurrency miner called Pawnrake, the script that they are using is also designed to remove cloud security rules and carry out SSH brute forcing attack by using 450 hard-coded credentials to further use other systems in the network. Right. So 8220 is just focus on crypto mining. Okay. So there are platforms, there are capabilities available that can detect crypto mining if it is done on your systems that are hosted in the cloud. Look at third-party cloud security data tools. Okay. Also, there's a new malware called Evilnam, which is targeting cryptocurrency and commodity platforms, also DeFi platforms. This malware is active since 2018, and it is tracked using a moniker called TA4563 and Deathstalker, and it again works in a similar way. There's a malicious email sent that contains a malicious document. It infects the system, and then once it is there, it starts impacting or trying to steal cryptocurrency and anything related to commodities. Okay, so this is not a new trend. We've been seeing attacks from last year where there are dedicated malwares targeting stealing cryptocurrency from wallets, etc. Also, FBI has seized 500,000 ransomware payments from $500 USD $500,000 from North Korean hackers. So, they've been this particular ransomware group that launched Moi ransomware, and it targeted healthcare providers in Kansas and Colorado, and so the law enforcement has been able to take out some money. Not all the details of how the entire sum of 500,000 is mentioned, but two payments of $100,000 and another one of $120,000 is mentioned. So the law enforcement would typically work with cryptocurrency exchanges and cash out service providers to seize those funds, right? So this is good, that law enforcement is understanding and taking actions on the recent cryptocurrency frauds. In other security news, a report has come out that tracks around 30 years worth of cyber criminal activity data on underground forums, and they have come up with things like how easy it is to become a cyber criminal today, because a lot of these underground forums provide those tools as those softwares as either services at a very cheap cost, as low as $10, and then also stolen credentials from various companies as low as $5. They provide advertisements, they provide support, they provide escrow, they provide vendor ratings, and typically in these websites, the average life of these underground forums is 55 days because of law enforcement chasing them down. But vendor ratings carry from one place to another. So any person who's selling these malware software, malicious toolkits, they carry those reputations, okay, from one side to another. So that's what this report talks about. I don't find anything surprising in this. I've been seeing this for a long time. There is always competition available. People are making it very easy to become cyber criminal. Okay, but please don't do it. There are law enforcement is going to come after you. Okay, another report that talks about some of the stats on phishing in Q2 of 2022. So they mentioned top 10 sites that are used for phishing. So LinkedIn is number one, what that means is some people or cyber criminals are using LinkedIn-based campaigns to lure credentials from employees. Okay. Also Microsoft and other software like Amazon, Apple, Adidas. Okay. So somebody will send you a fake invoice of Amazon or a gift reward coupon in a PDF, and open it and you get infected, right? So this is a good report from learning perspective. Also another report that talked about the most vulnerability seen on internet traffic. So Log4j is number one, as I was expecting. No surprises there, because it is Java is the most deployed application worldwide, and hence Log4j becomes more relevant there. Okay. Also, Microsoft has planned to block macros again. So they started with blocking, they unblocked, and finally they reverted back. So from 27th July, macros will be blocked. Great. Okay. Also, a document from NIST is there. It talks about the cybersecurity updates on the HIPAA side. Great. And the new things they're talking about is telehealth, telemedicine guidance, supply chain guidance, cloud security, ransomware, phishing, and essentially how hospital and related organizations should handle cybersecurity. So this is great. With that, thank you so much. I'm thankful to my sources again who help us learn. And if you have any questions, please leave comments on my YouTube channel or my Twitter handle. And I'll see you next time. Keep learning.